All right, man, peace. So, with the acquisition of NBA superstar LeBron James, it seems as if the sky is the limit for the LA Lakers because we know that if we agree with what the mainstream liberal sports media tells us, all you need is LeBron James and you immediately become a title contender. Well, LA Lakers neophyte Kyle Kuzma seems to agree with that sentiment because he's been talking a lot of shit lately about how good he believes the LA Lakers can be. And to a degree, I agree with him because we have to understand that last season, filled almost exclusively with young players, the LA Lakers were able to win 35 games. And their rookie, Lonzo Ball, or at least one of their rookies, Lonzo Ball, missed a good portion of the season. So with a LeBron James, I expect them to win anywhere from 48 to maybe even as high as 54 games. That's why I picked them to finish anywhere between the third seed and the sixth seed. Well, anyway, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Welcome to SportsCenter right now. I'm Victoria Arlen. Los Angeles Lakers rookie standout Kyle Kuzma is excited about the Los Angeles Lakers' new additions and believes many are underestimating what the Lakers are capable of this season.
I don't know why people, kind of just rule us out just because we're young.
Bro, I don't think that there are any NBA pundits or aficionados that are quote-unquote ruling you out. I just think that people who have experience watching the NBA and watching top-level basketball know that you happen to be playing in an era where you have one of the most dominant teams in the history of the NBA at their apex. So it depends on what you mean when you say ruling us out. When you say ruling us out, are you talking about championship aspirations? Are you talking about a deep run in the playoffs? What? Because I can see the LA Lakers getting all the way to the conference finals, but I don't see them getting past the Warriors at all. To be quite frank with you, I could see the Lakers going out in the first round. I could see them going out in the third round, but certainly not past the third round.
We're hungry, we're competitive. Anybody that watched us play last year, we were in a lot of games. Adding one of the greatest players of all time, that's only going to, raise what we do, and raise our level of focus to an even higher level. So I don't really see why they're so patient.
An ESPN panel of NBA experts projected the 2018-19 win-loss for every team, and the Lakers come in at the sixth seed in the West with a record of 46-36.
To be quite honest with you, brothers, I've learned to take many of these ESPN projections very seriously. I remember when they created an NBA players projection where they stated that Kobe Bryant was going to be one of the worst players in the league a few years ago. I think maybe like 2015. And they even had a segment on First Take about it where Stephen A. Smith was incredulous. Well, of course, it ended up being true. I remember when they had a projection where they stated that Carmelo Anthony was going to fall off big time. And he chuckled about it in his normal imperious way where he seems to think that he's Larry Bird or something. It ended up being true. So when they say that the Lakers are going to be 46-36, it wouldn't shock me if that happens. Once again, I think that they're going to finish anywhere between 54 wins and 48 wins. So would 46 wins shock me? No. That's a little bit outside of where I have them, but the sixth seed is about where I could see them, anywhere from as high as 3 to as low as 6.
This would be the fewest wins for a LeBron James team in a full-length season since the 2007-2008 Cavaliers went 45-37.
But isn't it amazing? LeBron James is the greatest player in the NBA's history, and all he can do is lead a team to 46 wins in the Western Conference.
Now let's toss it back to First Take.
I remember Magic Johnson in 1990 in his last real season with the LA Lakers, when he had Vlade Divac at center and an older James Worthy at small forward, older by mileage, not by age, as well as a Byron Scott as shooting guard. He had Mike Dunleavy as his head coach, and he led the Lakers to something like 58 wins, and they surprised the Portland Trail Blazers and made it to the finals. In that season, everyone was picking the Portland Trail Blazers to go back to the finals, and Magic was able to outsmart them in the final round of the Western Conference, and of course, go to the finals where they lost to the Chicago Bulls. But that's why, once again, I have Magic Johnson above LeBron James on my list. I think that Magic Johnson is quickly starting to become one of the most underrated players in the history of the NBA, unfortunately, because we suffer oftentimes from recency bias. But Magic Johnson was an unbelievable player. And you can make a case, an outside case, but you can make a case that he's the greatest player in NBA history. It's an outside case. I say that because, of course, since he's on my top 4 list, he's on Mount Rushmore, because you can only fit 4 faces on Mount Rushmore. So just the fact that he's there means that, in my view, you can make an outside case for him being the greatest player in the history of the league.
Victoria, thank you kindly. So folks are underestimating the new look Lakers, according to one Kyle Kuzma. The purple and gold are predicted to finish 6th in the West. 6th, Max Kellerman, with LeBron James, the best player in the game, on the team.
Sure.
Too high or too low?
It's about right. A little low, I think, but about right. I think the rest of their supporting cast is better than the Cavs' supporting cast. I know there's no Kevin Love name brand player, but they have ascending talent in Ingram and Kuzma.
I agree.
And they brought in some interesting. Some of the Magic's moves were criticized, I think, not unfairly, but inappropriately. Bringing in Rondo and stuff like that, and people, what are they doing? Rondo can shoot a little better than people realize nowadays, and besides that, is a playoff-proven guy. So the Lakers, I think, 48.5 wins, the over-under is about right. It's a LeBron James team with some talent, but there's going to be, you talk about the Western Conference. The Warriors and Rockets are obviously going to have better regular season records, and there's going to be a team that we think is going to be better, like Portland, who may be a little worse, and a team we're not really expecting to be better, like San Antonio or someone like that.
I'm glad that Max Kellerman noted that Portland may be worse this season. They've made no major acquisitions, and I think that getting swept by the New Orleans Pelicans in last season's playoffs is going to provide a very major psychological impact on their team that they're not going to be able to recover from, because New Orleans physically dominated them, and they've done nothing to improve their size or what they can bring to the table from a multifaceted perspective. What have they changed? How have they grown? I just don't see any difference in them, and I could see them falling off, maybe winning about 43, 44 games and competing for the 8th seed. As I've stated, I have no idea why CJ McCollum is so obsessed with Kevin Durant. You're about 3 to 4 levels underneath Golden State. You have New Orleans Pelicans problems. They have to prove that they can beat New Orleans this season.
Might be a little better, but 5th or 6th regular season is about right for this Lakers team. They're going to have to get to know each other, play together. LeBron's now in a tougher conference. He didn't set the world on fire with a regular season wins-loss last year. Once you get to the playoffs, now we can reseed everybody and talk about how far we think they're going to get. Regular season, 5th or 6th is about right, Stephen A.
I think Kyle Kuzma is absolutely right. I think folks are underestimating the Los Angeles Lakers. I have the Los Angeles Lakers finishing as a top 3 seed in the Western Conference. You want to go as far as, you want to go as low as 4. I'm not going to argue it.
That's that Kool-Aid, boy.
Well, listen, it's no problem because I know basketball. And in reality,
well, you claim to know basketball. I partially agree with you. I think that they can be as high as 3. But to say that they're going to be no lower than 4, I'm not quite sure about that. I believe that Utah, New Orleans, the OKC Thunder are going to have a lot to say in regards to who falls underneath Golden State and the Rockets.
the reality of the situation is that LeBron James and the impact that he's going to have, I think it's going to be profound. But there's another element to it all that I think
that you're hoping that LeBron James' impact is going to be profound because you want to spend as much time out in the LA area as possible.
That I think people are ignoring. One of the things that I pay attention to, Max Kellerman, is more so than most, is the regular season from this perspective. Folks take nights off. LeBron doesn't, but other folks do. Other folks do. I'm talking about when he's on the court. LeBron James is going to give you what he's going to give you. And the way other guys are going to be able to feed off of that, I think is going to be incredibly instrumental. I would like to see Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka get another shooter. But in the end, I think when you consider the fact that the Lakers are second in the league in pace of play, in terms of their production offensively off of their pace.
To be honest with you, Steve, I think that they're going to have to adjust that. I think that they're going to have to come down just a little bit in their pace of play, particularly with older players on their squad like a LeBron James, like a Rajon Rondo. If they want to be as great as they can be, they're going to have to slow it down just a tad. That's why I question having Luke Walton as the head coach. I just don't think that the Golden State system fits in with their personnel. I don't think it ever has. And I think that Magic Johnson agrees with me, but he's a little bit hamstrung in being able to make a move because Luke Walton happens to be very close with Jeannie Buss. But I do think they're going to have to slow the team down just a little bit, because if they try to run with Golden State or the Rockets or whoever, they're going to get blown out the building because they can't shoot with those teams.
Combined with the fact that they were a top 11 offense, you look at the Kuzmas of the world, the Ingrams of the world. There's obviously a question mark with Lonzo and Rondo at the point guard spot. But in the end, the reason why I bring up the regular season in this regard in terms of people taking nights off is because of this. Because LeBron is in LA, and LA is starving for a show to return. And that's a big reason why LeBron went out there. LeBron ain't just going out there to win. He's going out there to put on a show.
Well, he's going out there to predominantly put on a show. I think that he's going out there to put on a show even more than win. Particularly this season, where he understands that basically he has a mulligan. He's playing a bit free of expectations. That's why he likes being surrounded by all those young players and a lot of cast-offs from other teams. He knows that there's no expectation for the Lakers to win a championship. So if he can get them to the conference finals, the LA Laker fans will start to support him. But next season is going to be that big season. I think that he knows it already. I think that he also knows that Adam Silver is going to make sure that he can secure at least one major free agent, either Kevin Durant or Klay Thompson or Kawhi Leonard. Someone of that nature is going to team up with LeBron James. There's no way in the world that he's going to play all 4 seasons on the Lakers, and he has not been promised, not only by Magic Johnson, but by higher powers, that he's not going to get another elite player to team up with him. The NBA needs him to win another championship so that they can keep pushing this narrative about him being better than Jordan.
When you take that into consideration, and you know how hyped this, just think about this for a second, and you're not even playing basketball. Think about how you feel, Max Kellerman. You don't need to write this down. Think about how you feel. Think about how you feel when you walk to a game, even with your boy Marcellus, when you walk to a Clippers game. And then tell me how you feel when you walk inside the Staples Center for a Lakers.
Night and day.
It's just night and day. There is something special about the game of basketball in the NBA when the Lakers are relevant. There is just a buzz that comes with it that hypes you up.
I think that'll energize the team.
And I think that'll energize the team. I think that'll energize their fan base. I think it'll energize LeBron. And particularly during the regular season where other teams don't necessarily have that to their advantage. They'll be good. They'll be solid and formidable. But what I'm saying is the nights off that you anticipate other teams customarily taking, that won't be the Lakers.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, well, you know what, Stephen A. Smith? Let me say this. You talk about how the Lakers are not going to take any nights off. There's not going to be any team in the NBA that takes a night off against them. So even though they won 35 games last season, they were not getting other teams' best efforts. They're going to be getting championship-level effort from other teams. When they go into Atlanta, when they go into Orlando, those teams are going to be giving effort like it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And that's what's going to chip away at their winning potential. That's why I say that they can possibly max out at 53, 54 wins, but I don't see them getting that much. I see them somewhere around that 48, 49 win area because they're going to be getting everybody's best effort. And there are even some prognostications that state that they would not be surprised if the LA Lakers don't make the playoffs. Am I going to go that far? No, I just don't see LeBron James not making the playoffs. But it would not shock me to see them be as low as 6th or even the 7th seed because they're going to be getting everybody's best effort. And in the Western Conference, I mean, hell, if in the Eastern Conference LeBron was winning 51 games, what's he going to do in the Western Conference against better teams? You have to expect him to finish somewhere around that 48, 49 win area.
And that's why I think they're going to be 50 wins at least, top 3, 4 seed in the Western
I don't
Conference.
see 50 wins because I think what Magic Johnson has his eyes on the prize, and that's a championship. And you know why Lakers fans want to win a championship? Because you can't win 3 in a row until you win the first one. Like Lakers fans, and Magic knows more than anyone, expect a dynasty eventually. LeBron might not be around for that dynasty. Who knows how much longer he'll play? But he's going to get him there.
Actually, Kobe and Shaq three-peated. Magic.
Right. He did. He repeated, but he won 5 altogether, and Riley coined and actually copyrighted 3-peat back then. They fell a little short, very competitive era. The point is that Magic understands they're trying to build something. So look at what he did in the offseason. You bring in Rondo. What's Rondo? A brilliant guy and a brilliant playmaking passer who wasn't a good shooter to start his career, but developed a better shot than people realize and plays defense. What's Lonzo? many of the same things, actually. You may say not as aggressive, not whatever, but he fits a similar profile in that way. If you think he needs to toughen up, who better than Rondo to model his game after in those respects? You look at Josh Hart, like a young, good guy who can play defense, can shoot the three. KCP, same sort of thing. Turn himself into a very good shooter. He can be a tenacious defender. You have interchangeable parts in a way, but also veterans who can help young players who share characteristics that they do become better players.
So what are you saying? I'm right about the 50?
What I'm saying is, this is as much as they'll be competitive by the playoffs, this is also a developmental year for the team.
Absolutely. This year is more of a project than anything else. I just don't see them being championship contenders. When you call them a 3 seed, you're calling them potential championship contenders. I'm not quite sure about that. But you know what? They have a lot of latent talent on their team. So it depends on how much Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball have grown in the offseason. Not just physically, but skill-wise as well. They're going to be a very, very interesting team. I think that the Lakers are going to be the most interesting team in the entire NBA to watch.
I don't see 50 wins in their
If the
future.
regular season didn't matter that much, those older veterans wouldn't be there. You wouldn't need a Lance Stevenson. You wouldn't need a Rondo. You wouldn't need a Beasley. You wouldn't need these guys. The reality is that you would have more time. You would gel during the regular season. You'd make the postseason and roll with
like
it.
48 wins is not a lot.
I'm not
It's
saying
hard
that.
for
I'm not
Western
saying.
Conference.
I'm just saying that I think it's going to be closer to 53. I think the Lakers will be a top 3, top 4 seed. I think LeBron James will be great. I think he'll win league MVP.
I'll say this. If LeBron James plays all 82 games like he did last season and the Lakers win 53 games, because he pretty much is going to have to play all 82 games for them to win 53 games, and he does his normal 28, 8-8 or 28, 9-9, they will give him an MVP award.
I
agree
really
with
do.
you on that.
And I think that he's going to put on. I think that no matter what you
Third
saw
is
from
high,
LeBron, I think no matter what you saw from LeBron, as long as he's healthy, I think LeBron will put on the greatest show of his career this season.
We'll see if it's enough.
We'll see. That's saying a lot because LeBron James has put on some pretty great shows. But I also think that playing many of those Western Conference teams 4 times a year instead of 2 times a year, it's going to start to wear on him. It's going to take its toll over the course of the regular season. And I don't see him playing all 82 games like he did last year, but we'll see. He may take on the challenge. But when you get 33, 34 years old, I don't care what you're taking, chemically speaking, allegedly. I don't care what you're taking. Eventually, you're going to start to lose more cellular structure than you're recovering. And after a while, it's going to show. And he's going to start to have to be concerned more about how much gas he has left in the tank than how much effort he wants to put into game number 54 of a regular season. So we'll see. We're definitely going to find out. Once again, I do think that the Lakers are going to be the most exciting team to watch in next year's regular season, even more than the Golden State Warriors, because we already know what we have with the Golden State Warriors. We have a transcendent team. With the Lakers, they're a project, so you're not quite sure what they're going to be. So peace.